everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting my favourite model from Skaventide, hands down. This is the Lord-Terminos. Here it is, absolutely spectacular new Stormcast Eternals miniature. I love it. I love it so much. I think it's absolutely fantastic. So, we're going to be painting him up today. Massive thanks to Games Workshop for sending me this one early as part of the Skaventide box. Now, there is a Memorian that does come with him, but we're going to do those Memorians as part of the Reclusians video, which will be coming very soon for you as well. So, we're not going to do that one in this one, just because, you know, keep the time down. And, well, there's 2 Memorians in the Reclusians unit and 1 for him, so I figure we'll do all 3 in the same unit. So, for now, we're just going to focus on the Lord-Terminos, and the colour we're going to be using first is some Black Legion, and we're going to be painting him in the colours of Hallowed Knights as we have done the rest of the box, and he's also been primed in Grey Seer. So what we're going to be doing with the Black Legion is we're going to be applying this over the top of the outside of all of the cloth, including the cloak as well. It's not going to be blue. We're going to do the whole lot in Black Legion, because he is a scary, scary character. He's also quite a funeral character. It's well worth reading up on what the Lord-Terminos does, because it's cool. So we're applying this over the top of all of the outward facing areas, like this. And then once that's done, we'll come back. So with all that Black Legion applied, we're then going to take some Flesh Tearers Red. I'm going to apply this over the top of the inside of the sleeves, which, although we have done in Black Legion, that's okay. We just want to kind of turn them a hint of red. Like that sort of thing. But what we're also going to do is apply it to the inside of his clothes, but not the inside of the cloak. So with that all done, we've applied it over the grip of the axe as well. But what we're going to do now is we're going to take some Wyldwood, and we're going to apply this over the top of the fur. Really simple here, but because we've got all that parchment, we don't want to kind of add a sort of bony bit to it. And because the cloak is black, we don't want to go any darker either. So just having some Wyldwood is absolutely fine. With that then done, we're going to take some Skeleton Horde, and we're going to apply this over the top of all of the parchment. So with that all done, we're going to add the blue. Now, as we've done most of the time, we've done Talassar blue followed by Ultramarines blue. However, in this case, we're not going to do that because it's really small amounts of blue. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually just go straight in with Stormfiend. And we're going to apply this over the top of this bit of the shoulder pad on this shoulder. Like so. And there's a tiny little bit of mail right down here, which we're going to apply this over the trim of, like that. And then we're also going to apply this over the top of the cover of the book. So with that all done, it is now time to work on some of the metallics. And so the first of these is going to be some thinned down iron warriors. And we're going to apply this over the top of all of our silver armour. These chains. And we're also going over the top of the first two sections of the axe. Just a bit here with the runes and the actual cutting edge of the blade. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Retributor Armour, and we're going to apply this over almost all the remaining details. Now, the only thing we're not going to be applying this over the top of is the inside of the cloak and the kind of, well, the glass of the hourglass. But everywhere else, you betcha. With all that Retributor Armour applied, we're then going to take some Cygor Brown and we're going to apply this over the top of the various little bits of leather that we definitely didn't forget to do. And with that then done, we're going to take some Leviathan Purple and we're going to apply this over the top of the hourglass. And so for our final base coat, we're going to take some Seraphim Sepia. And we're going to apply this to the inside of the cloak. So with that all done, it's now time to add some shades to the model. The first of these is going to be some Nuln Oil, and we're going to use this to shade all of the black and all of the silver. So with that all done, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Reikland Fleshshade and we're going to use this to shade all the parchment. And we'll just point out here actually, I forgot to mention we were also going to use the Nuln Oil over the top of the red too. Hence why the grip of that axe will be looking significantly darker than when you last saw it. Oh, no, that's gold. We don't want that. Speaking of gold, what we're going to do now is we're going to take two colours, and this is specifically for the axe. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take Guilliman Flesh and Cygor Brown. I'm going to be using Guilliman Flesh to shade all of the gold. So what we'll do is we'll just start by demonstrating that. So we're going to take the Guilliman Flesh and we're going to apply this, for example, all over the top of this shoulder here, like so. Marvellous. However, for the axe head, what we're going to do is we're going to take those two colours, Guilliman Flesh and Cygor Brown. And we're going to start by taking Guilliman Flesh. And we're going to apply this over the top of the entirety of the gold section on the axe, like that. Then we're going to wash the brush, touch off the water, grab a little bit of Cygor Brown, not too much here, and we're going to apply this towards the bladed area, and then just bring it along, wash the brush, grab a little bit more Guilliman Flesh, and then we're going to use that to just kind of pull the two colours together. Like that. We can actually do with washing the brush and grabbing a little bit more Cygor Brown and just adding this back in until we're happy with it. We're very nearly there. And so with that then done, what we're going to do is we're going to take a roughly 2 parts Lahmian medium to 1 part black Templar mix, and we're going to use this to add a little bit more darkness to our silver. So I'm going to apply this over the top of the runic part of the axe blade, like that, and then over the top of the armour, what we're going to do is kind of just going to add it almost all over. Just being quite sparing and watching out for any kind of large dark pools, because we don't want that. Just add a little bit more depth in there, a little bit more darkness. Just like that. Can apply it over the top of that little bit of mail under there as well. So with that all done, our Lord-Terminos is now what I would call a Warhipster battle ready, and he's looking pretty good. However, we're not going to leave him there. Of course not. We're going to take him to the next level, and we're going to do this by adding some highlights and some layers. However, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a highlight, and we're going to start with some thinned down Eshin Grey. And we're going to use this to highlight all of the black cloth. So with all that Eshin Grey applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Dawnstone. I'm going to use this to add some little spot highlights to all that black. So with that all done, the black is now finished. So what we can do is we can move on to the next colour, which is going to be all the silver. Now, colour we're going to be using first here, and this is a relayer, is going to be some thinned down Leadbelcher. And what we're looking to do, essentially, is kind of add a little bit more brightness back in, but not over all of the details. So, just here, on this kind of hip plate, we're going to add the Leadbelcher. Like so, just avoiding those recesses. And then we're going to do the same thing coming down here. Like that sort of thing. We're going to do the same sort of stuff on these kind of, well, on the elbows. Like that. Like that. We want to go over the forehead. On the helmet. Like that. We want to come over the front part of the gauntlets. And over the axe blade, what we're going to do is we're going to take the Leadbelcher, bring it around like so. Not all the way down, because then we're going to wash the brush, touch off the water, then we're just going to feather it into the darker part at the bottom of the blade. To get this gradual move from super shiny down to slightly dulled, like that. And we're just going to do that across this hip and the rest of the helmet and the gloves and stuff. With that then done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Ironbreaker, and we're going to use this now to highlight every single silver detail. So this is going to include the blackened areas of the axe, the actual cutting edge of the axe, but also every edge of the piece of armor, the chains, all of it basically. So with that all done, silver's looking pretty cool. So what we're going to do now is move on to the gold. And we're going to take some thinned down Retributor Armour. And this is just going to be on the axe. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use this to effectively relayer the kind of large axe blade bit. But what we're going to do is we're going to thin that Retributor Armour down just a little bit more than we would normally, not too much. And we're going to do that over the top of the comic trails. like that. Then we're going to bring it over the top of this part of the axe blade, axe head I should say. I'm going to bring it down around the bottom part of that gem. And now, the reason we've got it thinned down a little bit more than we would normally is that in here, where we've done that little bit of blending, we need to return some shine, but also keep the blend. So we're going to apply the Retributor Armour like that. You see how it's a bit stark? We're then going to wash the brush, and we're just going to reverse the model a little bit. And then, with a slightly damp brush, we're just going to go in there and restore the blend, but also have a little bit of a shine still in there. And so with that then done, just to lock in the flavour around this blended bit, we're going to take some Fuegan Orange. I'm just going to apply that over the top. Like that. With that done, we're not quite ready to highlight. We've just got one last relayer to do, and this is going to be some thinned down Liberator Gold, and we're going to be applying this over the top of this shoulder and that kind of head dress back plate type thing. So we're just going to be applying this over the top of all the flat areas. Again, just ignoring any of the kind of smaller areas like this teeth, for example. And anywhere where the shade is really settled. So with that Liberator Gold now we'll apply, we're going to take a roughly 2 parts Stormhost Silver to 1 part Retributor Armour mix. And we're going to use this to highlight all of the gold. So with that done, all the metallics are now looking extra special shiny. So what we're going to do is we're just going to dirty one area up a little bit. And as you can see on that kind of axe blade just there, I've added a couple of little nicks and scrapes with the same colour that we just did, the mix of Stormhost Silver and Retributor Armour. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take some Stormhost Silver. I'm just going to do the same thing across the actual cutting edge itself. You can also add them over the blackened area too. And over the top of the armour if you wish. So with that then done, what we're going to do is we're going to take a tiny amount of Evil Sunz Scarlet. I'm going to use this to highlight the inside of his clothes. Next up, we're going to take some thinned down Karak Stone, and we're going to use this to highlight the fur. Now we could dry brush this, however, because we've done so many of the details around it already. For me, it's just a little bit more of an extra hassle to do that than it is to just go in here and pick out all of these little strands. However, if you're feeling braver than I am, you can just dry brush it. With that Karak Stone all applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Korax White, and we're going to use this to relayer the inside of the cloak. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Screaming Skull, and we're going to use this to highlight all of the parchment, like that sort of thing. But what we're also going to do with the Screaming Skull is we're going to use this to add a couple of little spot highlights just to some of the little furs. Not all of them, just want to add a little bit of extra colour here and there. Like that sort of thing. And so with that done, there's just two things left to do to finish off the Lord-Terminos. Anyway, we're going to take some Blood Angels Red, and we're going to apply this over the top of the gem on the axe. And there is a little one just up here on the chest as well. Like that. So with that end done, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to take some Cygor Brown, and we're going to use this to add some little lines of text on all of the parchment. And so with his base complete, the Lord-Terminos is now finished. This is by far and away my favourite model from the box. I absolutely adore it. Now, as mentioned, we haven't done the Memorian yet. The Memorians will be coming in the Reclusians video. We're going to do all three there. So make sure you check out that one when it comes out. But for now, just bask in the glory of the Lord-Terminos because it's absolutely fantastic. Oh, I love it so much. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.